morning, ladies and gentlemen. All protocols observed. This is ECZ Charles Chanda, President of United, Prosperous and Peaceful Zambia. I'm here with a team as guided by ECZ. I'm here with our Secretary General, Mr. Msukwa. I'm here with our Head of Elections, Madam Zaliwe Banda, and I'm here with our 2026 campaign manager, meaning that we are ready for the elections, Mr. Charles Chanda. Thank you.
Thank you.
You have seen this? I don't know if it is. You can't read what is here. This is 100,000 presidential nominations have paid today. So it's here. We have paid 100,000. So already I'm a presidential candidate. So you want an alliance with me. You are talking about an alliance with somebody who has already paid his nomination fee. So you need to sit and convince me why I must put aside this nomination fee and go with you in the elections. I'm not saying I can't, but we need to talk. This is how serious as UPPZ we are when it comes to the development of this country. So we are saying we want this country to develop. And if we can develop it with anyone, we are saying that would be great.
Good morning first. My name is President Dr. Charles Chanda of the Reasoning Assurance Party. Reasoning Assurance Party. My team is on its way up to here. Thank you very much.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. My name's Howard Kunda, President of Zambia Wake Up Party. We are saying, Zambians, let's wake up. I've come with my able leaders as you guided. Thank you very much.
Sorry, I left out one thing. Ours is Reasoning Assurance Party. Tonton Kanya, Elio Vote.
May I just interrupt you there, please? Can we maintain order and equally follow the guideline that the Commission has given? Can we maintain order, please? If we are going to move in this direction, we will not finish our meeting, we will not get the value of why we are here. To our leaders, your leaders, please provide the leadership for us. Let's proceed.
Good morning. My name is Bishop Trevor Mwamba, the President of the United National Independence Party, UNIP, and I'm here together with our Acting General Secretary, Mr. Kenneth Kaira, and the Chairman for Elections, Mr. Anderson Chigaga Banda. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me take cognizance of the hardworking chairperson of the Electoral Commission of Zambia and your commission. My names are Leslie Chikuse. I'm the president for the Republican Progressive Party and your UPND Alliance spokesperson. I have come with my National Youth Chairman, Mr. Mubita, and my National Treasurer. Please, you can stand up so that people can see you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Progress. Delegation leaders, let's quicken this whole process, please.
Good morning. My love to you all. My name is Anset Mwambas Mwanza, the president of National Redemptive Insaka Party, the youth movement. So the youths are coming to take over leadership of this nation. I came with my vibrant SG, Janet Walia, here next to me. We're saying thank you.
Good morning.
Just a reminder, when you're done speaking, kindly switch off the microphone so that we can give access to others. You can proceed, sir.
Good morning. My name is Reverend Sambo. I am the Vice President for the New Nation Party. I came with my colleagues, Malama Sokoni and Dr. Joshua Mulenga.
Good evening, Zambia, and welcome to another exciting edition of Spotlight. Tonight, we are 114 days away from the August 13th general election. The roadmap is set, the tension is simmering, and the question on every street corner from Chipata to Chingola is the same as the path to State House. Is the path to State House a one-horse race, or is there a storm brewing that the incumbents haven't factored in?
On this episode, we are not just talking about statistics. We are talking about the soul of the nation, and while the UPND government touts debt restructuring and a projected 4.7% GDP growth, the reality on the ground is a University of Zambia campus in a sanitary crisis so dire that the Zambia National Service has had to step in. My name is Alfred Chimba.
It's a season of contradictions. We see the Electoral Commission of Zambia rolling out a new mixed member representation system, yet critics are calling a stakeholder meeting that was held last week a circus. We hear promises of transparency, yet allegations, of secret police recruitment at Lilai have sparked national, outrage.
Joining us tonight is a man who says he is not just a participant, but the solution to the many problems Zambia is faced with. He claims his party, the UPPZ, beat the Giants MMD as well as UNEP in 2021 without even breaking a sweat. Now he's buying vehicles, distributing smartphones and eyeing the presidency.
Tonight, we sit down with the united, prosperous and peaceful Zambia president, and this happens to be President Charles Chanda. Mr. President, welcome to Spotlight and welcome to Crown TV.
Well, thanks, Mr. Conjela, and all the listeners for Crown TV, and of course, Mr. Chimba. It's nice being hosted by your beautiful TV station.
We'll start off our conversation with what has happened today as a rider to what happened on Friday. You were invited to a stakeholders engagement meeting by the Electoral Commission of Zambia. More than 50 aspiring candidates were present, but you have taken a step further and have paid your nomination fees of 100,000 kwacha as per the requirement today. What has prompted your desire to continue on, because you've been knocking on the doors of Zambian people to want to lead this nation for quite some time now. But this year, what is different and what has encouraged you to pay that 100,000 kwacha?
Well, it's something that is beyond human consumption, if I may put it that way. When you look at the political aspirations, it's to save. And in the course of service, there are sacrifices. And one of the sacrifices one has to pay is to ensure that you pave the way for you to go and do something that needs to be done in the nation. Without any shadow of doubt, when you look at this country, we are in a mess. It's a serious crisis. This country is not supposed to be owing any country, any organization in the world. We have more than enough. But unfortunately, you can see that there are things that are being overlooked by those that eventually get the power. And we are saying as UPPZ, we've seen the shortcomings, and we want the Zambian people to see that we are serious. I mean, somebody was asking me that some people are complaining about the 100,000 kwacha as a nomination fee for you to be a president.
They're saying it's too high and the Electoral Commission of Zambia must reduce it.
No, in fact, for me, I'm even saying that it's too little.
Okay.
Why am I saying that? You want to be a president of a country, and your ideas, your ideologies cannot influence your personal economy, your family economy. You are complaining about 100,000. The country is owing billions. What are you going to do with the billions that the country is owing? So this is not, we must not play games here. And I think Africa has a challenge where we want to play games. We look at politics as a career where you get your butter and bread. Politics is not a career. It's an opportunity to save your country, to deliver your country. You are a David that needs to destroy the Goliath. There are risks. And one of the risks is that you need to show to the country that, look, I'm capable. If I can bring out 100,000, and I can assure you, even if they said 1 million, I was going to pay it. You know why? It's because we have united, prosperous, and peaceful Zambia. We are saying that this country is rich. So those who are complaining that it's too expensive, I think they must look for another career, not the career or not this issue of saving the country. As far as I'm concerned, ECZ, 100,000. In fact, next time, make it 500,000 so that we can limit people who think that they can play games with the country. This is why we are in this mess. So all we are saying here that we had to move and say, countrymen and women, we are ready. We want to save the country. Here is the 100,000. If I can do it, I mean, there's no alliance here. I mean, let not preempt what you're going to ask me. But what I'm saying is, I've done it. There's nobody backing me. I'm backing myself because there's a deep desire inside me to rescue this country.
All right. You've talked about being serious. Just last week at the stakeholders meeting that was called by the Electoral Commission of Zambia, we saw people in excess of 50 wanting to do what you have just done today. You are among a few that have made the bold step and paid the 100,000 kwacha. But do you think that when we get to the ballot, we're going to have as many people as was represented last week during the stakeholders meeting? But also, what do you make of that particular meeting on Friday?
If I had been given an opportunity to speak to ECZ officials, they had made a serious mistake. Yes, you need stakeholders, but that meeting was very important, very crucial. You must look at the kind of stakeholders that you have. They have the database. I don't want to get into, the politics of this country where there's a pick and choose who must be a politician and which political party must exist. Let's avoid that. But we have stakeholders, and the best way to handle stakeholders meetings as ECZ, go back to your previous elections. You look at how many political parties participated in the elections, not just picking everybody in the street and the stakeholders. Which stakeholders? We were 16 political parties that participated in the last election. So what ECZ is supposed to do? You go and bring out those 16. If you want to allow others, you can have another meeting. But apart from that, look at the 16 political parties. There are some of those 16, they've never participated in any by-election in the past 5 years. Where is the stakeholdership there? Is it to make noise? To come and cause confusion? No. This is why I'm saying that the work of delivering a country is more serious than what many people think. The last by-election, there were only 3 parties. It was UPND, UPPZ, and FDD. Only 3 parties. And some of them, the excuse they've been giving is that we don't have money to participate in a by-election. Now, you don't have money to participate in a by-election. You want to participate in a general election. That's not being serious. So for this one, ECZ should know who are the stakeholders to avoid time wasting. Because I can assure you, out of all those over 200, you will have less than 10 people standing up, and if they're told they'll manage. So why allow people who just come and cause confusion? We should have discussed. I mean, I had issues to present there, but I was not given the opportunity because we had a lot of noisemakers who mean nothing to this country, but all they want is to cause chaos so that at the end of the day, you cast a shadow on the ruling party. Because I can assure you, all that noise, eventually it was going to say, can you see UPND? As if UPND is ECZ.
Isn't that the painful cost of democracy? Because if the commission is going to be singling out who to invite, then the rest of the people will be feeling
it's not about singling out. Here, we must face realities here. The same people are complaining about 100,000. We paid 95,000 in the last election. The increase is only 5,000. I mean, so if you are complaining now, and last election you didn't participate, why are you in the meeting? Because I can assure you, some of those who are complaining about, no, it's too expensive. 95,000 was too expensive. 100,000 is too expensive. Are they going to manage to print t-shirts?
Would you have rather that meeting is held after paying nomination fees?
That is what I was expecting ECZ to do. They shouldn't have called that one a stakeholders meeting, because those stakeholders will not be on the ballot. What ECZ should have done, after people had paid, then you now call the people that have paid. Those are the stakeholders, not noisemakers.
Let's look at the alliance as an alliance fact. You are on record, actually from your press briefing that you held today, where you are claiming that your party, UPPZ, hasn't been invited to join any alliance. Why is it so? Does that mean that your party is not attractive enough?
Well, I may not give the full answers, but from what has been gathered, a lot of these my colleagues in the opposition, they've regarded me to be a party that has no influence in the political life of this country. So basically, I'm a joker. And this is the reason why, they felt that if you are calling for an alliance, you must call the big giants. The people they are calling big giants, some of them don't have political parties to stand on. Some of them don't even have a secretary general to sign their nomination. The people they are referring to as the giants who can influence the politics of this country, they've never been in a by-election. They don't even understand what's a by-election. They don't know the cost of a by-election. But look at UPPZ. Yes, we may not be among, the political giants, but mark my words and make no mistake. During this 5-year period of UPND, are you aware that we are one of those parties that have defeated the ruling party and all political parties? We won the Kanchiwia ward election. We beat UPND. We beat all these CF, socialists, and we won. We have a councillor there.
Is this what gives you courage to also participate in this forthcoming election?
Not really. That's just a side issue.
Okay.
Now, what I'm trying to bring out is that if you look at Kanchiwia, I'm sure you followed the CDF, movement. I call it a movement. Kanchiwia was selected by the ruling party. They pumped in so much. And the reason why I participated in the Kanchiwia by-election was to show the country that CDF alone cannot win elections. You need to be strong in your rural developmental agenda, which we are as UPPZ. We went there. We presented the agenda that we have for those in rural Zambia because they are neglected. We have a message, and that message has been received. So now, if we are able to beat UPND in the last election in Serenge, are you aware that in 2 polling stations, we came first? We defeated UPND in 2 polling stations. And that's their stronghold. That's their baby. Their councillor was UPND. So now, if we can do that, tell me, how can my fellow opposition leaders who are even failing to raise money to contest elections in a word be calling me as somebody without influence? That's the reason why I've made myself to be strong. I've been a lone ranger, and I can assure you it has been a one-man commando, and yet we are able to even defeat national systems. We've been able to defeat organized political parties, former ruling parties. We've defeated them. So don't undermine the power that drives UPPZ. I have a team, special team, dear to my heart. When I give you the names, you don't know them. There's not even one who has been an MP among my team.
Okay.
And that's the team that has been able to defeat known names, big names. And that kind of leadership is what is lacking. So this is why, for UPPZ, there can never be a succession crisis, because I've raised leaders. I've not taken them from political parties. I took them and raised them. They've caught the vision. Even when I'm not there, the fire of UPPZ cannot be quenched.
Looking at your 2021, performance in that election, how have you been able to get back to the ground and obviously all the drawing board and look forward to a victorious 2026 election?
With the 2021 elections, there was a lot of tricks, and you don't underestimate ruling parties. This is when people are talking about no UPND Mingalato. It's just because they brought out that word Mingalato. PF cannot claim that they didn't have Mingalato. They had more serious Mingalatos than UPND. Things were downplayed, and I couldn't campaign. Now, without even campaigning in 2021, I was able to come number 8, beating MMD and UNIP. So for me, all the UNIP, as far as I'm concerned, those are customers. MMD are customers because I dealt with them. And that's why, when I looked at our position, I sat with the team and said, look, what we are going to do is after UPND won the elections, I decided to stay quiet for 2 years. And people didn't understand the wisdom in that. UPND just won the elections. Why should I start throwing stones at them? They've never been in power. I said, look at my friend, President Hakainde Hichilema. We were together fighting PF. So now I must start fighting him. Let me give UPND an opportunity to settle down. We never participated in any by-election in the first 2 years of UPND. Not because we didn't have the resources. We wanted to settle down and plan. And that worked for us. When I noticed that our friends, unfortunately now, they started going the PF way. Because, you can start the way very well. UPND started very well. Good manifesto, good promises. But once they got into power, I think they became overwhelmed because of too many promises. They didn't know exactly where to touch. And so I could see that this is danger. Instead of concentrating on delivery, we concentrated on fighting the former regime to keep it down. That was a mistake. What they should have done is, how do we fulfill the promises? Yes, you can recover money from past corruption, but that one doesn't count. The one that counts is the present corruption. You must close up the loopholes for corruption. They ignored that. They ignored closing the loopholes. They were fighting for the previous corruption. And I could see that this is going to affect the party. This is why I said, okay, I'm going to stand up and offer respectful checks and balances. I don't insult the president. I'm not harsh to the president. I'm harsh to the system of governance. And that's the difference between UPPZ and all these political parties. My friends, my colleagues, the focus is on HH. This is why even this issue of alliance, people gather together. We must remove UPND and remove the church. No, that's a wrong purpose of coming together. You must regroup to be able to serve the Zambian people better. If you are the ones who were kicked out of power, because you failed, how can you come and remove your friend? Because you also failed. Now, how do you want to remove your friend? Because you are also part of the failures. They need to come up and say, no, this is what we want. So all we are saying here is that we've looked at, after looking at the way things were going, we stood up. And that's how the next by-election, we almost won in Mpika. We came second. After I leave, after that election, the next election, we won it. So I'm somebody that looks at why have we lost and what can we do? And I can assure you, have learned enough lessons from the over 75 by-elections we have participated in. I know the strength of UPND and the weakness of UPND.
And you are ready to field in all, positions?
Fortunately, this election is going to be different. We will have councillors in all the wards in Zambia. That's our beginning point. Elections are won at ward level. If you have councillors, you have campaign managers. They will be campaigning for themselves, but they will be campaigning also for the president. So on all parliamentary seats, we are. So this is a full-fledged participation, and expect something that may shock people come August 13th.
Your colleagues in the opposition have been saying that the environment has not been favorable for you as the opposition to campaign and to sell your message. How confident are you, and do you agree with that position that the environment has not been favorable?
Well, we need to agree to disagree. That statement is very strong. You can't come and say that the environment has not been okay. It depends on your approach. Now, as president of UPPZ, yes, they call me president because I am a president of a political party. But we have one president. And we have a civic duty, a religious duty to obey those that have the rule over us. You cannot begin to behave as if you are a national president and you want to be accorded with all the privileges of a national president. You can't. If you behave like that, this is why you find people are in exile. It's because, you talk too much. Even when you know that you are nothing, you have nothing. So what I've been doing as a UPPZ president, as an opposition president, I first realized I have a president. President Hakainde Hichilema is my president. He has a mandate to rule this country. So my duty is not to put sand in his shoes so that he can't walk properly. And then if he makes a mistake, then I say, yes, he has failed. No, we campaigned together when he was in opposition so that we could remove the ruthless PF regime, which we won. So now, I cannot all of a sudden turn against him. I need to look at the system. I'll say, Mr. President, the system that you are now applying is not okay. Attack the system, not the individuals. The mistake is that when you attack a president, let me tell you, even if I become president, I'm a human being. Don't attack me. Attack my policies. Because if you attack me, I'm a human being. I'll be personal. You can't avoid that. There's no way that you'll be insulting me. I must just say so because I'm president. I'll react. It's nature. So attack the system and condemn the system. We will correct the system. Not insult me as an individual. What have I done? I'm just following our policy. If our policies are wrong, fight against them in the next election. Let's get another party with better policies. That's how you do politics. But Zambians, they don't know how to do politics. They want to behave as if they are the ones in State House.
You have given the government, the UPND government, and some opposition political parties that have managed to contest in these by-elections a serious run for their money. In some instances, you have won, like you've mentioned. In some cases, you've even come out second and third, in other by-elections. But we've been seeing your political party posting huge numbers in these by-elections. What message are you giving the Zambian people? And as you get to 2026, what Zambia do you envision?
Well, that is the question that, I can answer anytime. UPPZ, united, prosperous, and peaceful Zambia. That's what I want. When you say united, and of course, we've got UNIP had united. The current government, they have the united component in their party. We also have a united. But then you need to be, realistic. When you say one Zambia, we are supposed to say one nation. But currently, it's not one nation. It's one Zambia, one side. This is why UPPZ comes up and said, no, we want a Zambia that is united economically, socially, morally. And when we say united, I'll give you a very good example. Here is the president. He appoints a minister of infrastructure. Somebody to take care of roads and other,
infrastructure
projects. But then what do we see? The Minister of Infrastructure becomes a Minister of Infrastructure in urban Zambia, not in rural Zambia. Whether it was under PAF or under UPND, you start building bridges on roads. Look, go to Arcades. What do we see there? Flyover bridge. There's no water there. Rural Zambia has got rivers, no bridges. That's the mentality that we are against as UPPZ. If you are a Minister of Infrastructure, you must understand you are to save people in rural Zambia. That's the united. We need to be united. People in rural Zambia, when you say one Zambia, they must say one nation, not one side. Look at Minister of Water Affairs. How can you be a Minister of Water Affairs when the only water you know is the water in Kafue River? No, Kafue River has been contaminated. ABCD, all the focus is on Kafue River because that is what is saving urban Zambia. You get chlorine for people in urban Zambia. And then water that we use in the toilet here in the city, including here in Lusaka, toilet water has got chlorine. Honestly speaking, do you need chlorine in toilet water? But that's what we do. Go to rural Zambia. Our people are drinking water with animals, untreated water, no chlorine, and yet they are also voters. We've got more voters in rural Zambia. So we are saying that we need a united Zambia. And on top of that, you get a councillor in a village. The work in a village is not done by a councillor. It's done by the headman. Your system, our current system, it honors education. We honor grade 12. Even if one has got only one pass, we say no, because you are a councillor. Government pays you as a councillor. They don't pay the headman. Who does the work in the village? The headman does judicial duties. They are there to do all other duties in the village, but they are not paid. So why pay a councillor? And you say one Zambia, one nation. So we are saying no. So when you say united, we want a uniform kind of life. You cannot buy an MP a 4x4. You don't buy a chief a 4x4. A chief stays with the people in the village. An MP, even if he's from rural Zambia, he stays in urban Zambia. So we are saying no. We want all headmen in Zambia to be paid. We want our chiefs to have proper cars. And that's united. Prosperous. Zambia is rich. Zambia is not poor. And for your record, 2017, one company on the Copper Belt produced 70,000 kilograms of emeralds. I sat down to look at the value of 70,000 kgs of emerald. It is equivalent to 26 years of Zambia's national budget. One company. Now you imagine, all that money went out of the country. If that money was for this country, up to today, Zambia will be a tax-free country and the money will be there. There will be no, except we just keep it and ensure that no thieves. So Zambia is rich. We are not supposed to be owing. This is why I am against these issues of, debt restructuring. You cannot do debt restructuring. You are killing the future generation. You as an adult, you fail to pay. You defer the payment to the next 20 years. Children who are not born must come and pay. When you as an adult, you were drinking the money. You were wasting money. Then the children come and pay. This is why the youth are in trouble.
Still on that, Mr. President, let's bring in the economic reality there. We know for a fact that the World Bank as well as IMF are projecting stability, but poverty rates remain, not really pleasing. If Charles Chanda is in State House this September, rather, what is the first thing you would do to put money in the pockets of the person currently struggling to buy a bag of meal?
The economics part that I did has made me to understand. When you are dealing with the economy of a country, we've got two sides of the economy. We have what we call shadow economy, then we have the actual economy. When we are dealing with the shadow economy, you are dealing with an economy of undocumented transactions within the country that add up to the GDP but are not recorded. That's a shadow economy. And then when you deal with the actual economy, these are transactions that are recorded. Now, on record, Zambia depends on our minerals. It's the copper. I mean, whether you like it or not, the strength of the kwacha is supposed to be assisted with the copper. Now, here is the challenge that have been looking at. This copper is not in our hands. The mines are not in our hands. And if the mines are not in our hands, and then we can have some gains, like right now, the kwacha has strengthened. If you were to ask me, how has the kwacha strengthened? I'll be very honest with you. I'll tell you that this is a human manipulation. You know why I'll tell you that? Because one, we don't have copper for ourselves. We have given tax holidays. So where did we get the strength? So this is a human manipulation, which later you will see that it's not about our economy. So this is why, as UPPZ, if the country decides to give us an opportunity to be in State House, we want to deal with our mining policy. Our current mining policy is good for nothing. It is an imperialistic way of getting wealth out of Africa, and we have embraced it. You'll be shocked. This is why sometimes I sit down. I say, the people that are leading us, are they inside they are Europeans and outside they are Africans? Because the mind and the decisions are all European decisions. You cannot allow somebody get into your country, begin to dig huge trenches, get out all your minerals, and after that, the money goes outside. Who does that? So we want to change the way our mining is done. What we want as UPPZ, yes, foreign investors are welcome. You must mine according to our rules and regulations. We don't want your money. If you mine 20 million tons of copper or gold or emerald, it's yours. Go and sell it. But we want the money first to come into Zambia. Okay. Then after that, if you want to transmit money outside, transfer money outside, it must be through Bank of Zambia regulations. When you do that, we will have a control. And this kwacha, I can assure you, even that 14 hours can become a reality. Once you control that. But we have no control. All the money goes out. And we want to deal with that. And if we can control our minds, Then, we've got base minerals, we've got copper, and then we've got precious minerals. We are saying as a country, under UPPZ, we want to nationalize the precious minerals. Emerald, gold, and sugilite, even if they tell you that it's finished, it's not true. Sugilite is there. We want all these precious minerals to be under government. We want to nationalize them. There's nothing wrong. We had them under UNIP, so we can still do it. So that the money from those precious minerals, we use them to develop our country. That's how we can make our economy to be what it's supposed to be.
President Chanda, Zambia is still trying to navigate the aftermath of the debt crisis. The UPND was getting into office at the backdrop of a Zambia that was defaulting, on bondholders, a Zambia that was in the negatives with regards, debt repayments. President Agana Ichlema and his team says they've restructured the debt. They have managed to broker a deal with the IMF, something the Patriotic Front was trying but could not manage. If you are to be elected as president of this country, how will you make a prosperous Zambia without borrowing?
Well, that's something that we need to face. A reality that is very difficult but must be faced. The UPND hasn't solved any debt crisis. They've actually worsened it. Why the UPND has gone the debt restructuring was for them to borrow more. And as president, if God allows that I become a president, I don't want to borrow more. I want to pay.
How are you going to pay?
It's very easy. We need to own the economy. We don't own the economy. We don't. 98% of our mines are in foreign hands. Yes, we can use agriculture, but it's in the long term. The immediate way to deal with Zambia's economy is to get hold of the mines. Put the right policies. There's no way that we can be exporting copper. We are exporting gold, but we are saying it's copper. And things are left like that. Are you aware that at the moment, I can challenge the government. Does the government know the tonnage of gold that leaves Zambia every day? Some of the big mines that we know, we are not going to mention them here. They are mining gold, but what they give, they are exporting copper. So there's a lot of carelessness in the handling of the mines. And this is why, these mines are very clever. When they see that somebody is going to become president, they make sure that they find a way to influence.
Do you have evidence to substantiate those claims that you're making? If you were asked, by authorities to say, give us the name of
it's not even about, here, I'm a Zambian. And if I'm a Zambian citizen, and I bring out a concern, it is the onus is on the government. And I'm saying, I'm still going to challenge the government. These minerals that leave this country, do we have testers for them? So don't come after me. I'm helping the situation. These minerals that leave, something is melted, it's round, and it goes out, and you say it's copper. Do we have testing centers to prove that what is going out is actually copper? So this is not something about witch hunting. I didn't mention any organization. I'm saying let us get to a point where if things are being exported as a country, we have the responsibility to know that what is being exported is this.
Okay. When you talk of the economy, I know Alfred is coming in, but when you talk of the economy, the UPND administration has by local, financial institutions as well as foreign ones such as the Bloomberg and as well as the Telegraph, they have, rated his performance in the positives. And also, you talked about Zambia's debt position, Internationally, we are better off. We have a better credit rating now as we were 5 years ago. How can you then say that we are not doing well and that the kwacha is also something that is being manipulated when, certain tabloids can even say that President Hakainde Hichilema is amongst the best leaders in the world based on the policies that he has implemented in this country?
Those people, do they live in Zambia? Have they lived in rural Zambia? Those people who are doing that, are they aware that the government doesn't buy maize, it borrows maize? If we are doing so well, why should it take 9 months to pay a farmer? And yet the maize, we sold it to the millers on cash. So, there are certain things that, we need to apply common sense. Those people have their own way of doing things. Do they know how much meal is and how much it was? So when these people are rating, and this is why I would want to also encourage the incumbent, he must not depend on the ratings by those people. They don't vote for those people. He must put his ears to the ground. What are the people in Mrs. talking about? The people in Shangombo, what are they talking about? Those good, organizations and their good English, it will not help in the elections because it's what is taking place on the ground. That is important. So every political party should not be so taken. You are listening to the outside world. Listen to the inside.
But what of the more than 90% success rate during the by-elections that the UPND is the ground speaking back to the president?
You can win all the by-elections and still lose the general elections. Remember MMD, they literally won almost all the by-elections. PF, even if they are, you can still ask them. They won all of them. Normally, a ruling party doesn't lose by-elections, normally, because the system is under their control. So the issue of by-elections shouldn't even be yardstick.
President Chanda, I know for sure we have less than 10 minutes here, but let's quickly look at the delimitation as a strategy. Some are saying that the new boundaries favor the incumbent, and in this case, we've seen 70 new constituencies that have been added. As an opposition leader, do you see this as a genuine attempt to bring services closer to the people, or is it, just one of those winning gimmicks?
Sometimes we need to face realities. You may hate the government, you may hate the president, but that doesn't mean that everything that they do is wrong.
So you support this is okay?
For delimitation. Now I want you to look at the wisdom. Those who have not been in by-elections, they will condemn it because they don't know. Those of us who have participated in by-elections, we know what it means. You have a constituency, 200 kilometers from one ward to another. 200 kilometers. And you are in one constituency. Who can develop such a huge area? So delimitation, yes, it may have its own flaws when being done, but the intentions are good. Let's take delivery to the people. And remember, we have CDF. Now, whether you like it or not, CDF is supposed to be a game changer. CDF. It's something that is very progressive. Unfortunately, its implementation leaves much to be desired. I mean, I can be honest with you. There shouldn't have been any MP under UPND, whether independent, whether opposition or UPND, who was going not to go through with CDF. All of them should have gone through, in fact, unopposed, because CDF was meant to ensure that constituencies develop. Now, from 1.6 to 30 million or above, how can you fail? How can you lose popularity as an MP with such monies? That shows you that there is something wrong. So what we are saying here is that delimitation, it's a good exercise.
Okay. Just before we come to the last part, Mr. President, this is more personal. We're going to look at the Promise Keeper. You've started distributing vehicles and smartphones to your provincial leaders, and this also, I believe, brings a lot of questions. Where is the money coming from? And are these personal funds, or there is obviously an international godfather behind, or maybe backing the UPPZ campaigns?
I want you to look at the way you are dressed. Just the way you are dressed and the way Stan Konjara is dressed. It shows that if we are going to talk about those with money, you will be an uncle. He will be an uncle. Me, I will be Vayama. Because people will look at the way I'm dressed.
Okay. No, we know we called you out of a meeting.
Listen.
You were not.
No, you should have seen me in the day. I was in a suit. But I deliberately put on a work suit. The past 2 nights, have not slept. Past 2 nights, have been working in the bush where there is no network, where there is no water, facilities. And now, when you say, is there a godfather? This is public. I can tell you, I have sponsored UPPZ for 9 years out of my pocket. This program, people are watching it. There is not a single UPPZ member that can come up today and say, I gave the president 2,000 or 3,000 to put into the party. I have sponsored 75 by-elections out of my money. You know why I do that? I don't want elections that are sponsored from outside the country. The general election that is coming, I'm going to sponsor it. So that if I win, Zambia wins. My colleagues have got funders. I don't have any funders. There is no organization, whether it is in Zambia or outside Zambia. I work for the money. I stay in the bush to look for money. I would have been amongst the richest. In fact, right now, I can drive the most expensive car in the whole country, more than even the president.
If you want.
I can pay the president his 54,000 per month salary without any outsiders. I can pay the MPs, the cabinet ministers. Why? It's hard work. Zambians need to understand we have every resource in this country. So, this is why, for me to have UPPZ, it's not a joke. United, prosperous, and peaceful Zambia. Zambia has everything. And I can assure you, there's no outside money that comes into UPPZ.
As a person, and this is almost our final question, we only have about a minute left. As a person that has participated in elections, by-elections during this tenure of the UPND, do you believe the Electoral Commission of Zambia has what it takes to preside over free and fair elections come August 13th this year?
This is a $1 million question. And the focus that, everyone is having is these people at ECZ. In fact, the majority of the senior staff are UPND. So the question comes in, are they going to be UPND or are they going to be ECZ that is an independent? I cannot answer on their behalf, but my request is they need to put off the uniform, the cadarism that is in the heart.
Are you able to mention one ECZ official that is UPND?
No, it's common. No? It's in the public domain. I don't even need to mention. Everybody knows.
For the sake of those that don't know.
No, they should just know that it's led by our friends from UPND. It's not a secret. You go on social media, you will see them with UPND, because you can't have UPND regalia and you are not UPND. They won't even allow you. So the issue here is that, and my plea to them, I don't want to judge them. I've got every respect in the ECZ chairperson. And I believe that come election day, national duty will supersede political party duties. Let us save the country. Let's have free and fair elections. Let the winner be a winner and the loser be a loser without manipulation. And that responsibility is huge, and they need our prayers.
In 2021, we heard songs of wind of change. Is there a wind of change this year? And is that wind blowing in your direction?
I'll tell you something that nobody has told you. The kind of wind that is there is a silent frustration in many people. Go in the civil service, they can't talk. They are afraid. But inside, people are boiling and they are waiting for that day. What they will decide to do, they know. They've not said, they've not told anybody. And you can misjudge the people. If you are not careful, you may think all is well, when really there's nothing that is well. What we are saying is, let's give a message of hope to the citizens and let us allow them to vote. Do you know that the plans that people have is that the day we vote, we will not go home, we will wait until they count. But you will not see it. There is an internal anger and frustration. What is causing that? Every presidential candidate must sit down and ask, am I adding to the frustration that our people are having? And that is $1 million question.
President Charles Chanda of the United, Prosperous and Peaceful Zambia joined us tonight on Spotlight. We are grateful. The phone has been ringing, messages have been pouring, but unfortunately our time tonight was limited. President, thank you very much for
It's such a pleasure,
time.
and thank you so much for having me on the show.
All right. This has been Spotlight. We look forward to another exciting edition tomorrow right here on Crown TV. My name is Sailors Konjara.
And my name is Alfred Chimba. Good night and enjoy the rest of our broadcasting.